last name, honor it,
Honor.
you be disowned.
Yes.
I mean, if I do something very bad in San Diego, a lot of people in the world are gonna find out.
Yes.
Oh, we have a fellow last name, Lamine is my last name in San Diego. We have heard he has stolen somebody's car or did something bad or did after somebody's wife. Something not a
Yes.
good thing, you know, bad.
Yes.
Great
Or he
grandfather
was
would know.
saying he owed money, didn't pay, or he was in jail, or he was on drug. I mean, they are not gonna come and grab me. They don't know where I live. Most of my nephews and cousins,
But the shame at
the
home.
shame would. I couldn't call them. They would not send me postcard like they do. And some of these people I don't know. I have nephews and nieces that were born after I left the country.
Oh, he's one of the more.
They would know more. Yeah, they would
Oh,
dishonor me.
Oh, to put a stain on the honor of the family, the name, was the worst
So
sin.
far, my name is safe. I can
So
see
the
that.
star where you just want to be remembered as the
Oh,
Maggie
forever,
style.
forever. And the name Maggie Thatcher will probably go down for 1,000 years in that respect in the Irish culture, because she didn't understand that. But I'll just finish with one last thought. In my own time in Ireland, one of the worst things that you could say about somebody around the fire talking about so and so was, well, you know, he took so and so to law. You did not. Yeah, you settled that locally under tradition. Everybody knew what the fairness of it was, and if you either took somebody to law or they took you to law, you had lost your honor for a long time. And that would be said around the fireplace for a couple of generations. Oh, sure, no, didn't he take that person to law? Which, again, it shows you had the disrepute that the English law, the English legal system had gone into because of the penal laws and various other reasons. The other thing was that you didn't do was you didn't, and you read about that in O'Sullivan Bear. One of the worst sins you could commit was to appeal to the English legal system to enforce an inheritance or a legal right against a brother or a son or somebody like that. Absolutely taboo. You did not do that. And if one member of the family brought another member of the family to law over a piece of land, oh, that was really bad. Really bad. Really bad. It was for many reasons. It broke the old link with the old traditions. They didn't maybe think of it in terms of Brehon law, but it was there deep in the people that lived in the land. That it was obvious who owned that land. It was handed down through the generations, and the father on his dying bed would generally make the final decision as to who got what. And generally, the older brother got the first choice. Interestingly enough, they would divide up whatever they owned. But interestingly enough, the father didn't say, well, Johnny is going to get this and Patrick's going to get that. He's going to say, that's the decision. And then the eldest son got the first choice, and it went right down to the which incidentally, by the way, has been readopted in the Northern Ireland Assembly as the way to get the ministries, which is extraordinary. That you have like 10 ministries, and the different parties that have the parties that have the highest number get to choose the ministries. So the first guy gets finance, and then it goes down the line. Wow. And I don't suppose that the unionists have any clue where that came from. But that was how it was done. Again, the parent or the guy who was checking out and dying left the maximum amount of choice to the ones that came behind them, and they had to straighten that out among themselves. In other words, the entire concept of authority was they abhorred imposition. They abhorred any kind of imposition because it led to arguments and strife. Whereas if you insisted that they figured that out among themselves, and then they they signed on to it, they abided by it. So it just is everywhere when you start looking at the Irish culture and the Irish way of life. It's everywhere, and it's their entire way of thinking, and it's absolutely no doubt corresponds very closely to probably South America, the Pacific Islands, North America, and probably very early Europe as well, because it made sense. That's how you dealt with the inheritance of the land. So unless you've got any last questions, we'll wrap it up.
Thank you very much.
Hold on a second. Kevin? Yeah.
You're saying about McFurbish, was he descended from Brehons?
Oh, indeed he was. The
He
McFur-
wrote law tracts, and he copied law tracts in
Yes,
his work.
he did. He wrote the Book of Lacan. He was from Inniscrone in Sligo, which is near Ballina, in a little village called Lacan, Lecan. And
17th century.
yes, he was. Yes. Now he was the descendant of an earlier McFurbish. Well, there was a whole line of them actually, but the McFurbishes, they were the Brehons or the Olives, the Bards, the Brehons, to the what's the name of the family? They were the oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of the O'Dowds, the O'Doudas. They were the traditional Olives or Brehons to the O'Doudas, which is amazing because see, every royal family, you know, like the Tyrconnell, the Unions, they all had their traditional bards and their traditional Olives and Philly and Brehons, you see. And that's what the McFurbishes were, and very proud they were. And they were at equal level as the O'Doudas.
So the Great Book of Irish Genealogy has law tracts in it?
I don't think so. That would be slightly different. No, that's not what McFurbish translated, but he was a Brehon, but that's not what he translated mostly the genealogy. But that was partial law. The vast majority of the Brehon laws have not been translated, unfortunately. So the work of Dúall McFurbisher, who was the absolute last, seriously, the very last, because if you remember, he was killed by a Cromwellian settler in 1670. Now, when you consider that the Flight of the Earls was in 1607, and from that moment onwards, the support system for the Brehons and so on was gone. They were just now a dying class. So the fact that the O'Doudas survived, or the O'Dowds, as it's known as today, and they survived until 1670. And yes, and how the O'Dowds survived as a tribe and as a very proud people in the Ox Mountains, just inside the inland side of the Ox Mountains, was when in 1798, when the French landed in Killala, one of the very first chieftains to ride in on his horse with his men was the O'Dowd, and presented himself to the Spanish Admiral Humbert, and put himself at his disposal as a very, very proud local chieftain. So he was still there in 1798, the year of the French.
One more question. That's the word according
So
to
you see,
Patrick Flannery.
yeah, but by then, now, again, but okay, all right. The west of Ireland actually survived, a lot of that stuff survived in the west of Ireland much later than everybody else. In fact, the Annals of the Four Masters exists because of the O'Garas in North Roscommon, near Lochgara. They were the patrons. They had the money. They had the tracts. They had buried their old castle. And Micheál O'Clery, who was a Jesuit monk from Donegal, he took them back up and he wrote most of the Annals of the Four Masters in the convent. But in those days, convent was more of in the town, in Donegal town, but under the patronage of the O'Garas of North Roscommon. So the fact that some of those tribes survived was the dying embers of the Brehon system. Thank you very much.
Once again, the superiority. Where is